wanted just to be DMC, the king of rap. And when I asked that question, the universe, God, Buddha, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him, gave me the answer. At age 35, I found out that I was adopted. Then I found out that I was a foster kid. And I felt so alone. And I went through this depression. I called myself an alcoholic, suicidal, metaphysical, spiritual wreck. I read the Bible 20 times. My wife thought I was crazy. 20 times from start to end. When I would go to Asia, in the hotels in Japan, they put the Bible and they put the Buddha book. I was like, this is a sign. I read the Buddha. I came home. Somebody told me about this guy named Deepak Chopra. So I went to Borders and Barnes and Noble and brought the meaning of life. Life, what is this? And all these metaphysical books. And none of that helped me not feel so alone. So make a long story short, my friend Eric, I don't like calling my manager, I've known him since I was a kid. So he's my friend, he takes care of me. They was trying to do stuff to keep me busy because they thought he might kill himself. He drinking himself to death, keep him busy. So he takes me to LA to go get cast for a movie. I ain't want to be in no movie. I'm a rhymer, man. I just rhyme. That's what I want to do. I want to be a rapper in a movie. That's corny to me. I just want to rhyme. So they take me to LA, and I walk in there, and I'm sitting there for the interview, and the guy looks at me, and he says, DMC, man. I always see Run, Reverend Run, and Russell, and everybody, and I never see you, man. Where you been? What's happening? I just found out that I was adopted at age 35 and didn't know my whole life, so I was pissed off. So he asked me, what's up with you? I looked at him and I said, well, I just found out that I was adopted at age 35 and I didn't know my whole life, and everybody in my neighborhood knew, all the priests knew that I went to Catholic school with, my aunts and uncles knew, my cousins knew, and this and that. I screamed on him. He looked at me like, and he said, wait, there's somebody I need you to meet. So he set me up to meet this young lady because a week earlier she was in his office venting about doing searches for her birth mother, and she kept hitting dead ends and all of that. So thankfully, that was a saving grace to me. So I sit down with this lady, who, by the way, is one of the biggest casting directors in Hollywood. She do all the best movies, not corny ones. She do all the best movies in Hollywood. She is the casting director of The Sopranos. Not only that, she's the casting director of The Entourage. Woo! She works with Mark Wahlberg and John Travolta and all the superstar actors in Hollywood. Yeah. But to me, she was an angel. And we sat down, and I told her my story about how I found out that I was adopted at age 35. And she looked at me and she said, shit, I'd have committed suicide. But thankfully you didn't. And then she told me her story about her adoption and how she found out and all of that. And this is what's powerful, because I'm trying to make you understand, with these situations, with these various kids and these young people who are not put here to waste away and die, they have a purpose and they have a destiny. This is what children's rights is about. This is what Rosie represents. And Sheila Jaffe, she looked at me and she said this. And this is what this evening and every day from now on when y'all leave here this evening is about. Sheila Jaffe said to me, she looked at me and said, Darryl, we were fortunate to be adopted. What about all those kids that might not get adopted? What about those kids that won't get adopted? And what about those kids that age out the system? And I was new to this because I'm a new adoptee. I just found out that I was for one of them. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't know, Sheila. And she said, Darryl, we have to do something for I will never forget those words. She said we have to do something for those children, for those youth, and for those young people. So me and Sheila, being as creative as we are, and if you know Sheila's creative, I'm creative, Rosie's creative. Most foster kids are very creative. I found out there's a lot of us. Some of us are fortunate to live the good life, but some are very unfortunate to go through hell. So me and Sheila said, I know what we're going to do. Sheila looks at me and says, we're going to build cities in every state in the United States of America, and we're going to take all the foster kids under our wing, and we're going to teach them, we're going to nurture them, we're going to discipline them, we're going to raise them up to be productive like us. And I stood up for the team, I said, yeah, Sheila, that's what we're going to do. So me and Sheila call up all our friends, and we tell them our plans. They all get together and say, it's a great idea, guys, but you need to think a little smaller. You know, me and Sheila, we was pissed. But with a little reluctance, they, convinced us to start small. Take baby steps to, don't just run out and build a city. Because we was going to do it. It's going to be done. But what we decided to do, what Sheila decided for us to do, was open up a camp. A sleepaway camp where we could take foster kids for 5 weeks every summer. We take them out to nature where they could see other foster kids just like them so they don't feel alone. They could see former successful foster kids like Rosie and me, and doctors and lawyers and psychiatrists and veterinarians and cooks, so they could see that regardless of their situation, they could be something. And these kids would come to the camp and they would look at me and Sheila and say, you was in the foster care system, Mr. DMC? And Mrs. Jaffe, you was adopted and you was in the foster. And they would see vision of what they could be. Something that would make them feel good about living this life on the earth, regardless of all the hell that they go through every day. So 8 years ago, right, Sheila? I thought it was 5. We are moving so fast. We opened up this camp, and I'm proud to say we're in our 8th year. We've seen purpose and destiny at its best by planting those little seeds into these individuals, regardless of their obstacles, so that one day they can come sit in this room too, tell their stories, and fight the good fight. So I'm proud to bring to the stage my partner in Camp Felix. The reason why we named it Camp Felix was we wanted adults and children alike to understand what we're trying to do here, regardless of your race, creed, color, height, weight, religion, wherever you live at, where you're from, we are all the same. We big family, we're in this together. So we said, if a cat family was to adopt a dog, they wouldn't name him Rover, they would give him a cat name. So we said, yeah, we're going to do Camp Felix, and our mascot is going to be a dog named Felix. And this is what it represents, so we all can understand what this is about. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for, by the way, the Emmy Award-winning casting